Okay, so let me do that over again because I had my headphones on, but it wasn't plugged in. I'm sitting here in the dark, so I wouldn't know that until I actually plugged it in. Funny, funny, crazy. Um, so yeah, okay, so this is, oh, what is this? Hold on. Why does it switch? Okay. Yeah, it shouldn't switch, but it was switching. Interesting. Okay, I just switched it from only me to, I don't know why it switched like that. All right, so here I am. I'm on Facebook Live. I'm fine. I just did a video that I had to delete because I didn't have my headphones, and then my system was like switching from private or public to private, so whatever. So, anyways, yes, I had to make the I by some for some reason I was drawn to The Walking Dead, which is a movie about zombies, and so I don't know why my body was gravitating towards that or why I was gravitating towards that. But I think there is a bigger reason because I have to be able to explain what cannibalization of the body is. Okay, so there's two posts that I posted that have to do with what cancer, disease, and chronic illness is and what aging and degrading is. And that is when the body cannibalizes itself, or you can say stealing from Peter to pay Paul, to be able to keep the vital organs going. But let's call a spade a spade. You know, it's the body cannibalizing itself. Okay? And so when you get cancer, disease, and chronic illness, and then um, you're taking all your different remedies, it's like the body is not only cannibalizing itself, but then you're also stopping any new life regenerating, and that is the depopulation agenda. When you're taking your chemotherapy and your cannabis, stopping life, and then the body is then having to rely on its own body to keep it alive, just like those zombies in The Walking Dead, where they're like half a body that's basically been um, uh, like with meat stripped off, the fat stripped off of it. Only the entrails are like trailing behind it, and it's like a shell of itself with like no face hardly and only eyes, with like a skull and hair, and they're trying to cannibalize another human being. And that's what I see right now in our elections and politics, religion, and science, is that we're like the walking dead. We're being attracted to people who are making noises over here, and we're trying to cannibalize each other through, all the different duality programming when you're taken aside and you're trying to usurp energy from your friends and family. And so, yeah, because you can't regenerate on your own, and so you're relying on somebody else, and that is called mitosis or meiosis when you're relying on somebody else. That is sexual reproduction. That is also our society. And so, and then also cancer, disease, and chronic illness is the fact that your body is cannibalizing itself and it's not really regenerating at the micro level to translate to the macro level. So that's why people are fertile, and then that's why they die, because the body does finally eat itself alive. And so I wrote, and I don't know why I was attracted to The Walking Dead now versus not later, but I knew about The Walking Dead movies, series, whatever, a couple years back, but I was too busy at the time. And so here is really where my thought process was coming from. So I'm writing all this stuff, and then I'm watching The Walking Dead. Well, that's no coincidence. The universe does talk to me. Cancer is the body starving, then overcompensating by accelerating growth, drawing more energy than you're able to contribute. This is when the body cannibalizes itself to heal and repair. It's like you're eating your own body part to stay alive. It's like eating your own hand, going, okay, I need to keep my vital organs going, so I'm going to cut off my own hand and cook it for dinner. What the hell? That's what people are doing when they're not doing J juices. They're essentially cutting off their own hand and frying it up in the frying pan and cooking it for dinner. Pretty soon, if you're not retaining more, releasing occasionally, and regenerating exponentially to evolution, you'll literally eat yourself or cannibalize yourself to death. And when you don't have enough of you to eat, then you go and draw energy from somebody else. You go and parasite off of somebody else. Okay, and that's when people start calling each other. That's when people start wanting to hang out and then private message each other on a constant basis, on a literal constant basis, because they don't have enough energy to keep themselves evolving, and so they keep taking from other people. So that's why I'm making this correlation that everything needs to be coming from an energy standpoint. It needs to come from a scientific standpoint with energy and physics versus then trying to get lost in the socioeconomics, getting lost in the politics and all the different religions and everything else that's out there. You bring it back to science, you reference everything from energy, you will see how then thermodynamics has everything to do with cell replication and then also the dying process and the life process. Okay? So those people who have too much energy in their body, they're obese, causing potential cancer because a body is not efficient using the energy. They already have the will to try to just, they already have, they have not using energy they already have, they will try to starve themselves to force the body to eat itself. So when you're seeing your friends saying, "Oh yeah, sugar is toxic. Stay away from carbs. Stay away from GMO. Stay away from, McDonald's," and they're demonizing the food supply, whether it's freaking Jack in the Box or it's some Whole Foods, they're now telling their friends to cannibalize themselves. Okay, so now, so those people who have too much energy in their body, they're obese, causing potential cancer because the body is not efficiently using the energy they already have. They will try to starve themselves by avoiding foods to force the body to eat itself. However, they are also starving their vital organs of the proper nutrition, and now they're teaching their body that it's okay to cannibalize itself and starve itself, and then cannibalize itself, and then starve itself until there's nothing freaking left. People start glitching on their way out the door because their body is cannibalizing itself, causing them imbalanced behaviors we are now witnessing. Okay? And so some of you are too tired to go out there and fight, right? And that's right now the difference between people who are elderly and people who are younger who are still cannibalizing themselves. Some people will say, okay, I'm too tired to draw energy from somebody else to keep me alive, and so I will just sit here at home and cannibalize energy from someone that's right next to me, or I will have my body cannibalize itself, and then I will sit here and pass away. And that's what goes on right now in the different old people's homes, is the body's cannibalizing itself, and the caretakers are just kind of making them comfortable through their own body eating itself alive. So when you scare people away from salt and sugar, you are now forcing them to basically cannibalize themselves out of existence. They will not be able to use food efficiently. The body will literally eat itself to death, and they will be contracting cancer, disease, chronic illness, autoimmunity, and they will be in a tremendous amount of pain on their way out the door. The aging process is the body cannibalizing itself to death. All of your surgeries and all of your protocols are contributing to the body triggering zombie-like behaviors, and I mean that literally. You are literally working from an amortized body. When your debt is paid off, and you can see, of course, the correlation between home ownership and a person taking part in the holistic allopathic world, you're taking loans out on a body that you really can't afford. And maybe some of you do pay off your house in your 40s and 50s, but you'll take on more debt because remember, humans, when they're not satisfied, they're taking on more energy. They're taking on more things to keep them distracted. And then what happens is more is leaving out of their body, mind, and spirit and their finances than they're able to retain. And that's why when people pay off their house, they're pretty much retired. And then guess what? Death is right around the corner. Okay? And if you're not in a loan for a house or have your own house and you're paying rent, well, that's even worse because you're not obviously taking in enough to really keep you alive, and you just keep giving your energy to somebody else with absolutely no investment in yourself. And those are people who are poor that can't seem to retain the energy that they're able, that they're given, and then they're not utilizing their finances efficiently, and they're not utilizing their body's finances efficiently. And that's when you see people also pass away in their apartments. Okay? So, author's note, cannabis, and this is what I was bagging on cannabis. Cannabis contributes to the brain being cannibalized by its own body. Look at the root word. Now, there may not be how it all can, there's no coincidence in life. And when I looked up the word can, I mean, there's different definitions based upon the etymology from different places, but it's about hollow, it's something about hollow, taking something out. But no matter what, cannabis is when the body is cannibalizing itself. That's why people have issues with memory, because guess what? The cannabis is taking up so much energy that the body is not regenerating, obviously, at the micro level, at the level that it should, or you wouldn't be doing cannabis to begin with. And so the brain is eating itself alive, trying to keep regenerating. But then, when your brain is eating itself alive, it's not regenerating. Guess what? There's like a person is becoming dopey, kind of dumb. Yeah, they might get little spikes of like, ooh, revelations here and there, but no, cannabis is where the brain is being cannibalized by the hormones that it's being brought to the surface in the endocrine system, the endocannabinoids. And so, that's why you see people who are all drug addicts, they are falling apart and they're rationalizing it, okay? So y'all don't know how much of a depopulation agenda you are in when you're looking for cures. And this is why yesterday I get so pissed because I see people that are in my group that say they're doing the J juice and they're in like the UK or in other points in between, and they are promoting cannabis to their friends and family. And I would imagine they're probably doing cannabis themselves. And no, the cures are not being hidden. The cures are all over the place, but you don't have any business doing cures on your own without a licensed professional because they are low level entropic poisons, antibiotics. Okay, so if you're still falling into that whole holistic world, they're hiding the or they're hiding the cures from us, all that bullshit, you ain't doing J juice. You probably have no business doing J juice, and don't blow smoke up my ass. Okay? Because when you're passing that along to your friends and family, but you're not even giving a testimony on J juice, you're not even giving people the opportunity to see how J juice can work in your world, you are part of the depopulation agenda, and then you're speaking out of both sides of your mouth, you're hypocritical, and that pisses me off. Don't be speaking on my Facebook and saying that how J juice is so great if you can't even put it to use. And then you're promoting freaking cannabis and cures out there in the holistic allopathic. That's where I got so pissed yesterday. I didn't want to call them out because I do have hope for them. I don't want to completely shut the door on them and call them out and piss them off. Not that they couldn't handle it. I'm sure they could. But I don't need to go that direction. But I'll still talk to them, and they know who I'm talking about because I did tag them and then delete the tag. So that way you don't know who they are unless you were there at that moment when I was doing it. But so cannabis is another energy harvesting drug that usurps the life force out of people who are already at a deficit. The people who feel they have to smoke cannabis as a remedy are the ones that cannot afford to be smoking it or using it because they are already way behind the 8 ball. And the more they suppress their evolution with cannabis is the less life force they will have to be able to regenerate and extend their time on this earth. Remember, they're prolonging their death, not prolonging their life. And when you prolong your death, it's a torturous way out the freaking door. Ask any hospice patient. When you give somebody cannabis, you are actually torturing the fuck out of them. Okay, you are, and you think you're being all like humane. Bullshit. Do you realize the body adapts to that kind of strain, and the person's in pain again, and then they go look for another strain, and then their body is steadily declining. Why don't you ask your friends to face their fucking evolution, give them the J juice, or talk about it, or you face your own evolution, do the J juice, deal with your freaking symptoms, show people you can survive your evolution process. Oh, but no, you would rather be humane and prolong their death process. That right there doesn't tell me that a person loves somebody when they want to prolong the torturous end of their life. People who smoke cannabis think that it's prolonging their life when it's actually doing quite the opposite. It's prolonging their fucking death. And on the way out the door, it's not fun. It's not helping them either. Pain is a body trying to evolve, and when you apply the wrong chemistry to your body, you are actually converting energy to suck the life out of the person by energizing their hormones, to anesthetize and stop the evolution, and the person's ability to heal with that much less, and then the person's ability to heal will be that much less if they would just actually face their own evolution. When you think you're trying to save somebody with cannabis, who has the ability to reverse their issues with life-giving chemistry, you rationalize that you're taking them out of their misery when actually you're actually promoting more misery in their life because the body is still going to want to live and it will adapt to those strains. And that's why people are looking for all the different strains of pot, always on the hunt for the new strain of pot. And so so does a person, and they will not be able to adapt and be pain-free because they never earned it to begin with. Yeah, when you're doing drugs, you'll never earn that pain-free lifestyle ever. You might have a temporary pain-free for a minute, but I'm telling you, the body's still going to want to live. And then this is when cancer happens for people who are, smoking pot or doing the chemo and all that stuff, because the body still wants to live, and so it's going to try to evolve somewhere else in the body, try to take up so much energy that it really doesn't have, and so the body then cannibalizes itself. When you do the J juice, you're actually giving your body, what it needs to be able to then regenerate. And so it doesn't have to, eat up all the organs and, in the cardiovascular system. It's able to utilize the energy that you're retaining from the J juice because you're finally healing and sealing and be able to utilize that energy. And by the way, nobody's hiding the fucking cure. The cure is all of the deadly remedies that are antibiotic. The elderberry syrup and the kombucha and the apple cider vinegar and all your little remedies. And the reason why the government must control the cures is because people are too dumb, and I'm being frank here, because people are too dumb to know what the fuck they're doing with their body with antibiotics. The cures are not the answer. And if you still believe in cures, you're not doing Jilly Juice, you don't belong in my group. If I'm annoyed because there are people on my page who say they're doing the Jilly Juice and they're not even giving anybody in their world a chance to live because they keep promoting cannabis, and yes, or they keep promoting that they're hiding the cures. And then yes, I unfollow them. And part of me wants to kick them out of my group because I can't stand hypocrites. I'm not going to, but I know who they are. And I'm going to let everybody else out there know. There are people in my group that say they're doing Jill Juice, but they're not doing it. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. But if you're all about saving humanity, you wouldn't be promoting drugs to your friends and family. You don't have to plug the J Juice. But why the hell would you promote drugs to your friends and family? Because that is hypocritical. This is why I say there are people on my page, in my group, that say they're doing the Jilly Juice, and they're really not, because they're doing more drugs, as well as promoting them, and more antibiotics than doing Jilly Juice, of course. And so when they eventually do trigger cancer, disease, and chronic illness, and they turn to their drugs, because remember, that's what they really want, then they say, okay, well, I'm going to do Jilly Juice too at the same time. It's all about balance, right? They're going to use my words against me, and you know it's going to happen. Someone will say, oh yeah, I'm going to balance out my antibiotics and my probiotics, all right. Okay, I'm going to do Jilly Juice, and now it will be too late for them because they're so used to being relatively pain-free, not actually earning it. They're used to anesthetize themselves. They won't be able to face the new aggressive pain from the cancer that's going to be double than before if they would have just stayed on the protocol and stopped promoting their drugs or taking their drugs. So no, not everybody that's in my group or say they're doing J Juice is really doing J Juice. And when they pass away, because you know that's going to happen, come on, it's already happening without the J Juice. So when someone says, yeah, I'm doing J Juice, and they're doing really everything else but, then yeah, eventually you know what's going to happen. It's inevitable. They already see it in their friends and family, right? So when they pass away because they tried to do the J Juice at the 11th hour, this is exactly the post that I want you to remember that is directed towards them, but I want all of you guys to see. There are people that say one thing and do another. And then it's obvious when they post on Facebook what exactly they're actually doing. And yeah, you can try to hide your posts from me. I don't really care. But I'm telling you, thanks, Catherine. But I'm telling you, there are people out there that say they're doing J Juice and they're really doing all their drugs and their ayahuasca and their antibiotics and they're trying to balance out all their home remedies. And then, when they pass away and their friends and family are like, well, I thought they were on J Juice. Oh no, honey, they blew smoke up your ass, they blew smoke up my ass, they blew smoke up everybody's ass. Oh yeah, I'm trendy, I'm doing J Juice. But they don't have what it takes to actually do it, but yet they're still promoting their little cannabis, or not. They may not say anything at all, and they say, oh yeah, I'm doing J Juice, and they pass away. Well, why did they pass away? I thought they were doing J Juice. Well, do you really think you should believe everybody what they say on Facebook? Or is chemistry and science the end-all be-all? Chemistry and science the end-all be-all. You can't always trust what someone says. Obviously, you look at politics. Look at your friends and family. They say, oh yeah, I love you, dude, I love you. And then they stab you in the back. Oh yeah, you're great, you're so wonderful. And they're talking behind your back to other people, completely diminishing who you are. I'm telling you, you can't trust people say. You look at what they do, yes, and you look at how they operate in the world, and then you look at them. Sometimes you can't tell when someone is on the J Juice because they're still dealing with their calibration process. But over time, you will see who's doing J Juice and who is not. You'll see who disappears and who kind of sort of sticks around every so often. And that's why Jilly Juice will stand the test of time. But the holistic allopathic world, no. They'll keep dying and reproducing. at the macro level, and they'll glorify motherhood, and they'll be all like, "Woo, hoity-toity," and all about crunchy mama, and whatever the heck it is that rationalizes them dying and reproducing. And that's the holistic allopathic world. But at least you'll see them for what they really are, and you'll look at people on J Juice and see them for what they really are, and you'll make a choice. So I don't want to have my body cannibalize itself. I want to have enough on retention so that way when I do go into other microbiomes, I'm able to go and adapt to it without utilizing good organs and tissue to do it. I will have enough on reserve. I will have enough for a rainy day. That's what they say. You should have enough money in the account for a rainy day or for an emergency. Oh, people like to go and spend until the last little bit and then go and then, thing and live from paycheck to paycheck. That's exactly what goes on in the dying societies. People are living from paycheck to paycheck. And they're taking out loans that they don't have any way to afford those loans. And so guess what? They'll end up dying still in debt, or they pay off their loans and they're at the 11th hour and they're already dead. So yeah, they paid off their loan, and now guess what? The house is paid off, but the person is dead. So what would happen is if you actually reversed your aging process and you're still able to enjoy your home when it's paid off, you're still able to enjoy your Social Security that you've paid into your whole life. What would happen if you're able to live indefinitely and you're able to enjoy all the toys that you've acquired and pay them off? What would happen? What would life be like? Oh wait, people don't want to consider that because they're so used to saying, "Oh yeah, you're supposed to die." And let's be a walking dead. Let's be a zombie and be the walking dead and just cannibalize each other. That's why I say be careful of how your energy, be careful of how you use your energy, be careful of those that are wanting to take your energy. And they're all over the place. When people are dying and reproducing at the macro level, they will find ways to capitalize on your energy and cannibalize you. And I'm telling you, and that's fine. People did that when I first started doing the J juice. People, parasites left and right, were cannibalizing my energy. But I was able to take the energy that they were, giving to me as they were taken from me. Because yeah, when people were pirating my ebook, they were taken from me. But guess what? They don't utilize it correctly. They're not going to do the J juice, and so whatever thing they did, it just took away more of their life force. But they don't know it. They think it's okay to die. So whatever they did back a couple years ago, causing all of this controversy, took more away from them than they're able to regain back because they ain't doing J juice and they're steadily aging, degrading, dying and reproducing at the macro level, contracting cancer, disease, and chronic illness, won't be able to handle the COVID. So it's going to work against them. Those that told from me a couple years ago, it's going to work against them. And the people that I've helped along the way that have been introduced to J juice, if they don't do J juice, that's their own choice. I've given them the ability to be able to be so rich in body, mind, and spirit that could eventually translate, into money in different ways. Not so much like having a spike in your cash flow where now you have like all this cash right here. Because what would you have to do to get everybody to give you your money, their money, and their energy? You'd have to really deceive them to have a total spike or have something that people want. No, let me tell you, Amazon and Facebook and all those big corporations, they've already monopolized that whole market of huge spikes. Anyone that deals in the energy world, in all of the different corporations that provide a service to all of humanity, they've already cornered the market on spikes in cash flow. So now what are you going to do to be able to balance out all the modern conveniences and your comfort and the needs of your friends and family, and as well as the needs of you? You have the ability with J juice if you apply it correctly. Or you become the zombie in The Walking Dead, cannibalizing other people. And that's exactly what happens in politics, religion, and science. How do you take energy from other people to keep you alive temporarily until there's nothing left? All right. Have a good day. Bye.